Howdy folks, Bluesboyjag here. Yet another 3-string cigar box guitar lesson tuned to open G. This is an A string tuned down to a G. And a D string tuned normal to D. And a 3rd string G string tuned normal to G. G, D, and G. This is a super common 3-string cigar box guitar tuning which allows you to play in a lot of different keys with a capo. So today I'm going to show you some slide ups with my left hand. I'm picking with my thumb and my first 2 fingers, thumb on the 3rd string, and my first finger is on the 2nd string, and my 2nd finger is on the 1st string. So what we're going to do here first is slide up from the 2nd fret on the 2nd string, and we're going to slide up 1 fret to the 3rd fret. And I'm plucking all 3 strings at the same time with my thumb, 1st finger, and 2nd finger. Notice I'm sliding instantly after I pluck. You can wait if you want to as well. But for now, we're going to slide straight up, plucking all 3 strings, and I'm sliding up instantaneously at the same time I'm plucking. So it's a real quick ba-doop, ba-doop, ba-doop. And I'm pausing for a split second, or I can pause for a longer time if I want. So once again, all 3 strings, and I'm pausing for a second before I slide up to the 3rd fret. Notice I'm not strumming, I'm plucking all 3. Now I'm going to jump over to the 1st string, 3rd fret. I'm going to play all 3 strings and choke, the 2nd, and then the 3rd, and then 0, or all 3 open. You get the idea. Sliding up, walking down, plucking all 3 strings with the right hand, all 3 at the same time. Of course, you can use any kind of sequence of notes here. 1st string, 2nd, 3rd. So if I start here on the 3rd string, I can go to the 2nd or the 1st, or I can play 2 strings at once. The sky's the limit. So I'm really only playing the open string and the 3rd fret. And I am muting with the plucking hand, or strumming hand if you want to call it. It's not really strumming. This is more of a strum. So this gives you a nice fat sound, and this is tailor-made for a walking bass line. So you have all sorts of different options here. I can do a walking bass pattern, and I'm plucking with my thumb and my 1st and 2nd finger, all 3 strings at the same time. That's the bass line I'm playing. But I'm also playing the other two strings open. Here's how it sounds if I strum, which I'm sure you've heard a lot. That's the walking blues pattern. So that's your strumming version, and this is your picking version. So everything's chopped off because I'm cutting off the note with my picking hand. So that first string right now is open. In other words, I'm playing all three strings, and the first string is open through the whole thing, which means it's a drone, but I'm fretting on the third and or the second string. And you don't have to do the walking bass pattern either. You can just randomly jump around. But I'm killing or muting with the fretting hand. And you see these fingers flopping around. That's the muting. Of course, you can pick with this hand or you can strum with this hand. But it's a little bit harder to choke, so if I want to get this real nice and funky and choppy, like chunk, 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 I'm fretting with that hand, but I'm muting and strumming with the right hand. So up close here with the right hand. Plucking all three strings at once. So that's all a G chord, everything I've showed you so far. I'm doing the walking pattern there, but it's still just that G chord. Now I'm going to bar the top two strings, 3rd fret, and then the 5th fret. And I'm keeping that low G in there. Sounds really cool. I'm only using my 3rd finger, and I'm pressing down on my 3rd finger with my 2nd finger, just to make sure it's pushed all the way down. So the bottom string is open. So I can go from 5 to 3 to 0, plucking all three strings with the open G on the bottom. Sounds really cool. Using my 1st and 2nd fingers on the top two strings and my thumb on the 3rd. I'm just kind of messing around here doing a blues shuffle. Barring on the 5th fret now with my pinky 2 frets up. Not using my 2nd finger or 3rd finger. Just my 1st barring and my pinky 2 frets up. Now we can go back down to the open like we were doing. So, if you know the 1 and the 4 and the 5 chord progression, that's the 1st chord in the key and the 4th chord and the 5th chord of the key. It's your typical blues. Here's your 1, which is G, and I can do a walking pattern. That's all considered the 1 chord or the G chord. Even though I'm jumping around and I'm playing some other notes here, That's the one chord. So you can do all sorts of different things with the one chord like I showed you earlier. So that's the G chord, or the first chord of the blues. If I bar here on the 5th fret, y'all are very familiar with this, I'm sure. That's your 4 chord. So basically what I'm doing is a pattern on the 1 chord, and then a pattern on the 4 chord. Back to the 1 chord. I'm just kind of jumping around here, not anything specific. Just making sure I do the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. That's the first chord in the key, the 4th chord, and the 3rd. 1, 4, 5 is what they call it. So the idea is that you're playing a different melody, but you're playing the same chords, right? So you're playing the shuffle, and that's your G shuffle. And that's your 4 chord, which is the 5th fret barring, and that's a C. And then you got your D. So I've been doing it slightly different here than what you normally hear. Normally it's going to be a 1, 4, 5, and maybe a walking pattern. Like that. But in this case, we're just doing a shuffle. Here I'm barring on the 4 chord. That's the 4th chord in the key, but I'm barring on the 5th fret. And let's slide up 2 more for the 5 chord. So people have been asking me, what's the best way to do a blues shuffle? Well, there is no specific single best way to do it. This is how I do it. I have a lot of different options here. I don't generally do the same pattern over and over, or the same riff over and over. I'll do the riff and then I'll change it slightly, and then I'll do the riff again and I'll change it slightly again. So for instance, for the G, we'll just stay on the G for a minute here. I'm choking with the fretting hand for one thing, which is a little bit tricky at first. So I've got my first finger, let's say, on the 2nd string, 2nd fret. I'm plucking all 3, but I'm choking with these fingers. So if I do that walking pattern and choke each one of them, I'm playing all 3 strings, remember, at the same time. Then I'm putting my 2nd finger on the 3rd string, 3rd fret, still playing all 3. I'm following through on that walking pattern, but I'm still playing the open 1st and 2nd strings. So the walking pattern is open 3rd string, 2nd finger on 3-3, 2nd finger open, 1st finger is going to be on 2-2, walk up 1 more, 2-3 with your 2nd finger, and back down. Now that's the single string version, and I'm using my thumb. Now I'm going to pluck all 3 strings. So every time I play, I'm strumming all 3, or plucking. Here's a strum and here's a pluck. So I'm playing all 3 strings, but I'm doing the walking bass pattern at the same time. Right now I'm choking every chord. Here's the unchoked version. I think they call this legato, right? And here's your swinging blues, which is all over my channel. I've got a whole slew of different ways to play this one. if you want to choke it, choking with the left hand, which is a little bit more intricate. So if you notice, I'm playing all 3 strings with my right hand, and I'm choking every single one of them, but I'm choking with the left hand. So the cool thing about this open tune guitar, and I can stay on the G chord, but I can move around a lot with my left hand and keep it moving, so it's not boring. It's not just your same old shuffle, for instance. So the combination of choking with this hand and choking with a fretting hand and doing the walking pattern keeps it from getting boring. Plus it keeps it nice and chunky. I call it chunky, it's kind of funky, same thing, chunky funky. That's what I call chunky. Thumb and first finger, second finger over here. Thumb and first 2. All sorts of different ways you can do that. All right, one more thing. The octave, 12th fret. So let's jump up there just for some real simple stuff. All I'm doing is barring all the way across all 3 strings on the 12th fret. Throws in just a little bit of a different kind of sound there. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Let me know if you have any questions. Please comment down below. Also check the details down below. It shows you what amps I'm using and a lot of the different tunings and so forth for my lessons. Let me know what lessons you would like me to record for you, or licks or songs, and we'll see you next time.